say.
Hey there guys, what's going on, and welcome back to our channel. Although some of us choose to spend our vacations lounging on the sand, others delight in deliberately searching out spooky places and scaring themselves half to death. This might not be the best holiday for the weak-hearted, but for the thrill seekers, these seem to have some major importance. From skull-filled catacombs to a snake-infested island, you're in for a long ride. So without wasting another second of our precious time, grab yourself a seat, maybe a bag of popcorn or two, and join us to witness the scariest attractions in the world. Number 13, Catacombs Paris. Where better to go for a spooky Halloween experience than Paris's famous catacombs, which are lined with skulls and contain the remains of over 6 million people. The catacombs, which were built in the late 18th century to cope with the city's overflowing cemeteries, have sections devoted to various bones and body parts. It's not for nothing that Paris is known as the Land of Love.
Site that you can visit. Initially, the bones of the dead were first stored very simply. Only later, the funeral workers began arranging the bones in decorative structures.
Number 12, Romania's Dracula's Castle. Hey there, are you part of those people who love vampires or stories related to them? Then this might just be the best place for you. Transylvania conjures up images of blood-sucking, black cape-wearing vampires. Make a gothic horror pilgrimage to Bran Castle, a grand, turreted medieval castle widely known as Dracula's inspiration. Just remember to bring some garlic. Number 11, Suicide Forest in Japan. This is a scene of sadness more than scary elements. Aokigahara Forest near Mount Fuji is notorious as one of the world's most common suicide spots and is closely associated with Japan mythology's home of the dead. Suicide has become such an issue in the country that over 200 people attempted suicide in 2010. Signs at the entrance now alert suicidal people to seek help, and patrols search the forest for bodies on a daily basis. Number 10, China's world's tallest glass-bottomed bridge. Now you need to check this out. This bridge may not be haunted with ghosts or have a trail of deathbeds. Instead, it offers you a glimpse of what it would feel like if you ever fell from a height. Zhangjiajie is home to the world's tallest glass-bottomed bridge, which opened in 2016 and is not for the faint-hearted. Visitors can see 300 meters, 985 feet down into the lush green valley below the 430-meter, 1,410-foot bridge. As if walking over the glass walkway wasn't frightening enough, tourists in June 2016 experienced a horrific safety experiment involving a BBC journalist slamming a sledgehammer into the glass walkway. Number 9, Dolls Village in Japan. These might just be voodoo dolls, and we would never know. Tsukimi Ayano returned to Nagoro, Japan in the early 2000s after a lifelong absence and discovered that many people had moved away or died. She began creating dolls in their likeness and putting them around the village to maintain their memories. She's made over 400 so far, including a whole classroom of kids in an abandoned village school. It also goes to show that one person's art project may be another's worst nightmare. Number 8, Peruvian sky lodges and hotels suspended in the air. Similar to the glass Chinese overhead bridge, this tourist attraction offers some scary sights. Are you afraid of heights? Imagine sleeping in a see-through pod strapped to a cliff's edge. That is exactly what you would do, or avoid the plague in the Peruvian Andes near Cusco at a location above the breathtaking Sacred Valley. Our compliments go to tourism agency NatureVive as they made this experience viable for tourists. Oh, and you can either climb a 123-meter, 400-foot steel ladder up a steep cliff face to reach your destination, or use a zip line, which overall sounds like a lot of fun. Number 7. Bolivia's Death Road. You might just have come across a Hollywood film that featured something similar to this. When you realize you're about to descend the Camino de los Yungas, a fun hillside bike ride may sound like a wonderful holiday experience. The infamous, mostly single-lane road north of La Paz has no railings or safety features, earning it the macabre nickname Death Highway due to an estimated 200 to 300 deaths each year in the 1990s. Number 6. West Virginia's Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Do you want to go on a ghost tour of a mental institution? Then we have the perfect recommendation for you. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia was open from 1864 to 1994, but its heyday, if you can call it that, was in the 1950s when 2,400 patients were crowded into a room meant for 250. Today, the asylum provides ghost tours, during which you may run into several former prisoners, including Lily, a young girl.
Is that you? What? There were 2 patients in the back. We got to an altercation. One patient turned to the other and he stabbed him 17 times with a homemade shank. Jesus. He didn't.
Number 5. London's Highgate Cemetery. Don't we all just love good old haunted stories? Well, you might just be able to witness a real-life horror story if you choose to visit here. Karl Marx, Lucian Freud, Christina Rossetti, and many others are buried in one of London's most well-known cemeteries, which houses about 170,000 people. People have mentioned seeing a ghostly figure known as the Highway Vampire haunting the cemetery grounds since the 1960s. Number 4. South Africa's Castle of Good Hope. Now this is legitimately one of the most chilling things you may encounter in life. The oldest building in South Africa, built by the Dutch East India Company in the 17th century, was used as a jail for many years where prisoners were tortured and abused. The chilling cries of former inmates are said to be heard by guards even today. Until we don't identify the actual source of the cries, we have to deem the situation as paranormal. Number 3. Pluckley, England, UK. England is famous for the number of spooky places it beholds. The quaint Pluckley in Kent is said to be the most haunted location in England, even though it's mistaken for a charming chocolate box English village, which was a questionable claim to fame given by Guinness World Records in 1989. At least 12 ghosts are known to roam the village, including an elderly woman who rests on the bridge smoking a pipe and consuming gin. Number 2. Italy's Poveglia Island. We'd be shocked if this forbidden island near Venice wasn't haunted, having served as a haven not only for exiled plague victims twice, but also as a lunatic asylum in the 1920s. After believing he had been driven insane by Poveglia spirits, a doctor at the mental asylum who allegedly conducted experimental and not entirely successful lobotomies dropped himself to his death from the hospital tower. Number 1. Brazil Snake Island. Islands can be spooky themselves to some extent, but when you combine snakes with them, it's like a cherry on top for thrill seekers. Those afraid of snakes should stay away from this rocky outcrop in Brazil, which is home to an estimated 2,000 to 4,000 endangered golden lancehead pit vipers. Visitors are not allowed on the island Ilha da Queimada Grande, or Snake Island, for their own protection and to protect the snake population. We don't encourage it, obviously, but do you guys dare to visit any of these scary locations in this video? Do let me know in the comments section below, and as usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time guys, take care, and goodbye. And